In this video, I'm going to show you how to import data that you can send to Excel on our Aleks homework. This is an example from our Chapter 2 homework. This is question number 8. And for a lot of these problems where there is data that you can send to Excel, there's going to be a button that looks just like this. In my computer, when I click this, it's going to send this data to my downloads folder. So make sure you know where this is downloading on your computer. In RStudio, you want to make sure you have access to the Environment tab and the Import Dataset feature. I'm going to click here and go to the second option. Now, for your RStudio, if you haven't done this before, it's going to ask you if you want to download all of the packages that are related to this feature. Go ahead and click yes, and then it's going to run a lot of different code in your console. Once it's done, you should see this window where now you're ready to import the data. I'll click Browse. I'll go to the folder where this data was stored. The data name is this, and I can just check by the date and time, and I'll click Open. There are quite a few things that are wrong with the way that it intends to import it at the beginning. If you look at the way that the data is organized, there's actually just one piece of information and a bunch of different numbers for that information. So what we want is we want one column with all of those numbers. The first thing I suggest doing is unclicking this first row as names. Now we get a chance to see that the columns are now named according to what RStudio wants to call them, when usually it'll be X1, X2. Now, the next thing that we need to do is the first data point, this 4.81, doesn't actually show up until the third row. So we actually should be skipping 2 lines. Now, you notice that when I type the number 2, nothing happens. I should hit the Tab key on my keyboard, and then it does exactly what I need. So the first number should be 4.81. I can compare that to the assignment. And that is, in fact, the first number, 4.81. Everything is ready for me to import. Now, the last thing that you can do is you can change this name of the data, perhaps something like this, chapter 2 _ 8. For the name of the data set, it's going to work just like naming any variable within the console. You can't have any spaces, which is why I use the underscore, and it can't start with a number. I'm going to hit the Tab key again because by just typing inside this little box, it doesn't change the name. I have to hit the Tab key, and then it changed it. A more advanced programmer might copy this code that's here. We don't have to pay attention to it now. So here goes. I'm going to go ahead and import this data. What happened is it created a data set with a column with all of the information that's there. So I'm going to clear my console. And for this particular problem, it actually benefits me to sort the data. So remember, I can either click this up and down arrow on the column and it'll sort it, either ascending or descending, or I can use the sort function, calling the name of the data set, $, the name of the column. And now you get to use the data in RStudio with all of the functions that we've learned in class. And hopefully this helps with all of your homework.